Greetings sailors and welcome back to World of Warships, and as promised a look at the Svea, which is the latest steel ship to be added. It's not cheap, it's 30,000 and it's actually, it's taken me until like mid last week sometime to actually scrape together enough steel plus the coupon discount to actually buy this thing. So I'm now down to not a lot of steel. I would show you, but yeah, the armory is not working properly at the moment. I don't know why they seem to be having such problems with the armory web server working properly through the client, but hey, anyway, is it worth it? Is it worth 30,000 steel? To be honest, if you're looking at getting a first ship, probably not. But it is not uninteresting. It's not my kind of ship necessarily, but it's not terrible. I don't think it does any one thing particularly well, however, and how I would class this thing is as basically a pure support cruiser, and by that I mean Tiger 59. You don't necessarily have the capability to do a ton of damage yourself, but you do have a really good toolbox to help out your teammates, and in that role it is absolutely better than the Tiger 59, which is not too difficult because Tiger 59 ain't that good. You don't see a lot of people playing it. This at least has high explosive, and it's actually got quite decent HE as well. So I'll do a quick rundown of the relevant stats. The guns are, I believe, basically Ragnar's guns. You've got a triple turret at the front and two twin turrets at the back. They are fully 360 rotating turrets, which is quite nice. And they actually have, because they're the Ragnar guns, they have better HE pen, although it's not German levels of HE pen. I think the standard for 6-inch guns is like 25mm. These have 30, and as you can see with IFHE, I have boosted that to 37. There's a bit of a debate, I suppose, whether you want to do that or not. There's a couple of ways you could slice and dice this in terms of both the captain skills and the equipment that you put on it, but I've chosen to try it with IFHE, which cuts the fire chance, although it's still 7.5% with like flags and captain skills, and that 37mm does open up some additional areas to HE penetration, and you are mostly going to be firing HE in this thing. We've also got torpedoes, which are from the Swedish destroyer line, I think the tier 9, I'm not sure, 13.5 kilometers and 10.7k, which is you can bump that a little bit higher with the cruiser skill, but I don't think it's really worth putting any points or equipment into the torpedoes. The torpedoes are just a kind of bit of bonus whatever. You're really unlikely to be striking anyone with any particular devastating force with these things, unless you get really lucky and just detonate somebody. You've also got 8 to airstrike, even though it does come modelled with depth charge rails over the back, but I guess they decided the airstrike would make it a little more viable versus submarines. If you're having to chase down submarines to drop depth charges over them, yeah, that would not be pleasant. You basically wouldn't really ever be doing that except in exceptional circumstances. The AA is all right. You get you've got a very good firing range, and like the damage, the AA damage is all right, but you've only got the 4 flak bursts. These are dual purpose 152s, so the range, I think, is why that range is so good, 6.9 kilometers. But yeah, it's not going to necessarily stop somebody dropping planes on you, but they might lose a few more planes in the process than some other ships. Maneuverability, it's got a decent top speed, that is with the Sierra Mike flag. Turning radius, however, is not great, and the base rudder shift is okay. I've actually enhanced that a little bit with the equipment, but overall it feels a little bit sluggish. Like it doesn't have the increased acceleration that the British cruisers get, and maybe if I was going to change one thing about it, I would give it that increased acceleration. So yeah, this isn't necessarily the best ship for dodging and weaving in open water, but there are certainly ships that are a lot worse than that. at it. Lastly, concealment, it's pretty good, 9.3 kilometers. That actually makes it almost able to, not really stealth radar, but it means that once you're spotted on the surface, you can basically, you don't have to go that much further to spot the thing that's spotting you with the radar. Now, I've mentioned radar because, yeah, it comes like the Tiger 59 with basically quite a large toolbox. You have got a short duration but high intensity, I don't know what to call it, engine boost, 30%. I've actually boosted that with captain skills, so it's just over a minute. You have a 9-kilometer radar, again that's boosted to almost 20 seconds. You have, I think, British destroyer smoke, so you've got a lot of them. They dissipate fairly quickly, but it's got a nice quick cooldown, as does the radar. Again, boosted by captain skills, but even without the captain skill boost, it's a pretty good cooldown. You could even forego concealment system, which would take your concealment up to, I think, around 10 kilometers ish. Take the ship consumables and modification 2 and get even more boost to your consumable action time. I think that would be somewhat viable, but for a ship like this, the more stealth the better, essentially. And then you also get a standard heal, and that is quite useful because this thing, it's got kind of funky armor, and it's better armor than you would expect, but this is still it's still 33k and a half hit points on a tier 10 cruiser, and it's still essentially a light cruiser. Although, yeah, like I said, it's better armor than you would expect. It's 25mm plating instead of 16, and that means it can resist more damage than a lot of other light cruisers. It does have an above waterline citadel though, but again, it's better armor than you would expect. So it's kind of, it's almost like the Smolensk, where it's weirdly survivable considering that it's otherwise quite squashy, and the heal will keep you going longer than you would be able to without it, obviously. And I don't think I've not played many games in it so far, but I'm not sure I've been sunk more than once or twice. I've not won that many games, but I've survived a lot of games. So yeah, this thing can take hits and keep going, which is quite a nice quality to have in a cruiser overall. Now let's go back to equipment and captain skills. You could, like I said, slice and dice this several ways. I've got the extra range, but you could instead take extra DPM, and that might not be a bad idea. Concealment, like I said, you could conceivably take ship consumables mod 1 if you didn't mind losing a bit of concealment. For this, I've tried taking the rudder shift 1, but you could also take, I think, propulsion mod 1. I think that would help you quite a lot because you are stopping and starting with your short duration smokes quite a lot. So there is, I think, definitely a very good case to be made for that. In terms of this slot, I think it's really just the aiming systems mod. You could take the smoke generator, but you're not really going to be sitting in the smoke for that long, and the cooldown on them is so quick. I mean, they take 40 seconds to disperse, and it's a 66-second cooldown, so functionally you're waiting 26 seconds for your smoke to come back. It's less than half a minute before you've got another smoke to come back, and you could narrow that gap even further by using the smoke generator mod, but you don't have that many barrels, and to be honest, I think the extra accuracy is probably, like, my personal feeling is that's more useful, but I think you could use the smoke gen. I've used the radar surveillance mod 1, which has boosted the radar time, obviously. I don't know if any of those would be maybe super useful. Perhaps the engine boost mod, give you a little bit of extra time on the engine power. But I don't know. I mean, just in terms of sheer utility, you get more radars than you get engine boosts. So I would argue just on that basis alone, that's probably more useful. Then the first slot, I've just got the standard main armaments 1. Captain skills, well, this is the special not a Swedish captain. This is the Polish captain who gets an enhanced adrenaline rush, and he does have skills that help you if you manage to land more than 8 torpedoes, but I don't think that's going to trigger very often in this particular ship. And you can also get more AA damage if you've shot down 20 aircraft, which might pop every so often. This is probably not optimal. I think there are probably different ways you could spec out the captains, but I think the main difference would be whether or not you're going to have IFHE, and like I said, I've chosen that for the extra bit of penetration, because the base pen of 30, obviously that's better than 25 that you find on a lot of the other 152mm ships. The 30mm still, like, there's a lot of armor where it's sort of 32mm and above. I think the sort of major thresholds tend to be sort of like 30mm, 32mm, and then you're sort of going up to like 50mm on some ships. Obviously the 50mm decks, you're not going to do much with that, but that 32mm threshold does open up some heavy cruisers and even some battleship deck areas to HE penetration. So I think you absolutely can viably either way go for IFHE, or you could take something else like radiolocation, which would play much more into being able to hunt down destroyers, because I think that's one of the major roles of this thing, is countering destroyers with that ability to have a very short distance between you being spotted and then being able to pop a radar and ping somebody else. That's probably this thing's absolute best combination of capabilities right there. But I've tried to do a little bit more damage focus with the IFHE. I might rejig this later and go for something a bit different. Radio location, you could maybe even take top grade gunner. I don't know if there's anything else that'd be super viable there. You could also potentially take survivability expert, get a bit more hit points, which might actually matter with this ship. I'm not sure. Like, I mean, I've got consumable enhancements there, which is good. I've got demo expert, which is offsetting the IFHE debuff a little bit. Priority target definitely helps for a ship of this nature. I think the torpedo skills you can basically ignore, and I'm not even sure what else you would necessarily want to take. Like, you certainly don't need to turn your turret faster. Like, you could maybe take consumable, the consumable prep one. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of different ways you can do this, but not that many really. The main choice, I think, is between IFHE and like radio location. So that's what I've tried. I've tried the extra range and IFHE for extra damage. I don't think doing damage is necessarily the primary role of this. It is trying to spook destroyers and supporting your own destroyers, and that's kind of what the Tiger 59 does as well, except this does it a lot more effectively because you have that high explosive available, whereas Tiger 59 with its AP, and yes, it's the better British AP, which is supposed to be kind of SAP, but not really. You kind of need broadsides to really be the most effective, and you've only got 4 barrels, so even though they're really fast firing, sometimes you're only going to have 2 of those barrels available, and if you're plinking away at a destroyer for 20 seconds, unless you get really lucky, you're not going to be able to do that much. So that ship far more relies on its teammates, whereas this you can do more directly. So we have got no CVs, which is nice, no submarines, which is nice, and we've gotten ourselves an arms race map as well. So that does complicate things slightly. We're not necessarily going to be trying to support destroyers taking caps early on, but we can try and discourage enemy destroyers from getting the upgrade points. So yeah, let's maybe, where do I want to go? This is an island with maps, which is going to be useful. The gun arcs are, like, they're pretty decent, so even with the extra range you can still hit things reliably. We're not talking sort of US 5-inch shells or even the British 6-inch shells in terms of their arcs. But you can still use island cover to some extent. You just can't quite park as close as you would be able to with some other ships. But you've also got the ability to make your own temporary cover as well, which of course is very useful. So yeah, let's get a bit closer and see what gets spotted. It looks like our Orage is trying to go for this damage boost. We've got a Petro who's just out of range. Right, there's a Shima there. So what we're going to do is we are going to smoke and going to try and help out with this Shima. You can see the arcs there. I'm trying to get the front turret to help, and like the accuracy, like if this had improved accuracy, I think like Ragnar gets, it would be probably quite a scary ship, but it's just standard cruiser accuracy, so it's still useful. There we go. But it's not like when you've only got like the front turret available, you're not going to be outputting huge amounts of damage. Now let's see if we can get a couple of sneaky shots on that Petro. We've also got torps incoming. You do not have a Hydra. This is one of the downsides of this thing. You do not have a Hydra, so you're going to have to be really jolly careful about torpedoes when you're in that smoke. But it's less of a worry than things with long duration smoke. You're not going to be sitting in the smoke long enough for somebody's torps dropped at range to get to. If they're very, very close by, then yes, you might be a bit stuffed. But yeah, so 2 fires there. That's not bad. The 7.5%. I mean, you can always, as a rule of thumb, with battleships at least, and I think maybe not quite as much with cruisers, but it always kind of works out as sort of like roughly half-ish what the given fire chance is. And I think it's like that 7.5% is enough to work with. But I don't know if you'd be better off with, damage-wise, being able to set more fires and maybe play it more like, I don't know, Smolensk is an obvious example, or Kolber, or one of those ships that's got fast-firing guns where you can indeed set a whole bunch of fires. Is it worth it for that Missouri to set a smoke, or just at the edge of range? Let's just try firing, as it probably will get us spotted. But there are things closer. You definitely, like, this is absolutely a thing you should bear in mind watching me play this. This is not my favourite style of cruiser, not even remotely. I prefer my cruisers with a bit of tankiness, with a bit of armour to them, where firing in the open isn't necessarily such a gamble. But there are some people that really do enjoy that light cruiser play style, and for those people, you know, they'll probably get on a lot better with this than I do. They'll be able to get more out of this ship than I do. So bear in mind watching me play this. I am absolutely not, you know, the most qualified person in the world to be talking about high-tier pew-pew light cruisers, because they're not the thing that suits me really at all. But even then, I think I've done not too bad with it, and I'm not like hating it. I'm just not loving it either. I think if you are someone that doesn't necessarily enjoy other light cruisers, I don't think this is a good plan for you spending your steel. But you know, there's plenty of steel ships these days, and it is interesting to have something that is a bit different, even if it's a ship where I have to play quite cagey and maybe don't get as much damage as I'd like. I think the best I've done was over 100, not that far over 100k, and there are definitely replays out there already of people getting like 200, 300k damage. So I think it is possible to farm that much damage. It probably involves lots of fire setting and lots of good cooperation with teammates, because this isn't a ship, and it's another reason why I don't necessarily like it that much. as a style of ship to play. It's one of those ships where you feel a lot more at the mercy of your teammates and a lot less able to try and dictate or at least have some big influence on how things are playing out, rather than just being a support harasser ship, which is definitely what this thing is more akin to, like the Tiger 59. That's why I specifically made that comparison. Very hard to make like strong effective plays in that ship. It's mostly just supporting your allies and hoping they don't completely suck. Right, let's get this heal going. And it'd be nice if I could get a fire going on that Missouri. We don't have a lot of damage so far. I may just, for the heck of it, come back at some point later on and do this with more fires. This enemy team, I don't know that this makes for a very fair showing of anything this ship is capable of, because this enemy team is, specifically their battleships, are all huddling at the back. Yeah, we've kind of basically won this already. Do I sit here for 20 seconds? Less than 20 seconds now, I guess so. And then we'll maybe speed boost towards the enemy a bit. And you can see that in action. We haven't even gotten to use the radar in this one, really. So there's the buff, also right next to that ship hit points buff. We might as well grab that as well. And I guess the next ship that goes down, like the remaining ships all have decent hit points, but the next ship that goes down will win us the game. This enemy team was I don't know what it was, but it was something. Yet another reason why I don't play that many high tier games just generally, because this isn't fun. This is just, I don't know, it's a walkover, and it was a win, but it was just such a walkover that, like, okay, yeah, whatever. You need a longer game to be able to work over the enemy ships and manage a better score. Matches like this, I don't think you're ever going to do very well with a ship like this, especially more if you've gone into the rate of fire and trying to farm fires on things. There just isn't enough time to do anything. Okay, this time we have only 3 battleships, CV, and an even number each of cruisers and destroyers. I think one of the advantages this has, it being new, is a lot of destroyers do not realise that it has radar. I've certainly caught a couple of people unawares that way. So if you encounter one of these things on the enemy team, give it a respectful distance, especially if it suddenly pops up and it's spotted, because there's a very good chance that they are going to ping the radar immediately afterwards. So yeah, it absolutely needs to be treated with some respect and wariness in a destroyer. Other classes of ships, yeah, not so much. You can just kind of plink away at it at will, and you're probably going to force them to use a smoke. I mean, that's probably going to be the most annoying thing dealing with this ship, is the fact it's able to smoke near constantly, and it just has so many smokes as well. So yeah, it's probably more going to be an annoyance than a threat for everybody else. Anyway, we'll actually get to see the AA in action a little bit here versus a tier 10 carrier. We've got a couple of ships going down south. They're just skirting my AA range. Okay, we might even try and get the cap. What have they got? Shima, Yueyang, the Som, and the Jaeger. Okay. We'll give it a go, but I'm not going to necessarily stick around, and I'll save a smoke for making a getaway if need be. Oh yeah, okay, there's somebody capping already. We'll see if we can at least give them the willies with a radar. Chances are they are behind the island though. So Tuppet's over there, Castilla even. Kuryu's down there. Kearsarge. Okay, we're going to have Kearsarge planes to deal with as well. And I am spotted, so I can go hello and find out that it's in fact 2 of their destroyers. So we're going to go and hump this island. And yeah, in the Tiger 59, this would be a very good angle for dealing with the Shima, but you wouldn't be being nearly as effective. I mean, here's where actually having the slightly faster rate of fire than having the
torpedoes to port.
The extra range, you know, for that kind of scenario, if you're wanting to specialize into that destroyer hunter kind of playstyle, then that is absolutely the way you would do it. Right, that's the Cleveland coming in, so they've got their own radar. And I have got 50 seconds until the torps come back. Oh, it'd be nice if my torpedoes managed to get something in that smoke. But that smoke's given my allies a nice big thing as well, but it might have just been emergency. Get the heck out of here, smoke. Right, so we're going to have incoming from the south. That is Cleveland Hydro. This might have been a bit like, okay, the cruiser that came in here with me has died and I am now a little bit alone. I'm not sure I like that. That makes life tricky. Of course, the Cleveland Hydro is going to last a lot longer than, yeah. Right. I guess I should actually be, instead of just backing up, I should actually be trying to get some damage done here. And the lack of Hydro is definitely going to be a problem for me, because of course I can't necessarily, like somebody decides they're going to be sneaky and try and come around and torpedo me. Not a lot I can do about that. We've also got the planes coming in, so we'll just quickly do something about that maybe. Kuryu, because it's the Kuryu, they're only dropping 2 at a time. Yeah, I think we're going to have to try and get out here. Try and avoid taking too much damage in the meantime, but... Yes, hello, Kuryu. Oh, that is the... Let's try and do that. Oh, hello, Som. Now, Som, you, I think, maybe don't realise that I have got a nice little radar. Well, Cleveland is actually going to be a problem for me, but the Som is about to have a very unhappy day. And I might even get to finish them off if I'm lucky. Torpedo hit, nice, not a lot of damage. But yeah, force the Som out the smoke, and yes, this thing's firing at me. But this is where the unexpected, I won't say tankiness, but the unexpected ability to survive damage does come in quite useful. Probably the biggest threat from battleships would be like the big nasty HE you get from some battleships. Did I manage to get that Som? I did not, but he's very low health. And there goes the Cleveland. Nice, right, that wasn't totally unsuccessful. We've absolutely nuked the Som. The Cleveland is down. That Shima is still around, but they did take some damage. Get that fire off. We might even be able to cap now.
Problem solved.
Okay, that wasn't terrible. Not a lot of damage, 45k, you know, it's not exactly outstanding, but with some help from my allies, we have managed to disrupt and clear out that center cap. So we'll actually turn around now and get back in there. So here's where that toolbox, that is absolutely the strength of this thing, is being able to combine things like radars and smokes and speed boosts at the appropriate time and cause all kinds of nasty disruptions to the enemy team. Right, I'm going to get in here and actually kill my speed, pop the smoke. Let's see if we can't help out against that Johan de Witt. Or is it de Witt? I don't actually know. Somebody will correct me, possibly. There we go, we got there just in time for an assist. Didn't get many of the cap points, but it'll help. And let's get some damage on this cruiser. I don't know offhand if the 30mm of pen would be enough, or if I'm actually getting more out of having the extra pen there. Force them to use DCP though. They're trying to heal. I'm not going to get... Oh, no, extra fire. Nice. Don't know if that's going to stick. My smoke's about to go down. I really don't have long until the next one, so we'll hang around. And are you trying to get my... Yes, you are. We'll hang around here and maybe try and ping at the Yamato. Somebody's looking at me though, I don't know who. This is why I think it's one of those ships where, like, some ships you can get away without having that skill, but some ships you kind of do really need it. Okay, it's the Kearsarge. Kearsarge and Yamato, and I don't know who. If I didn't have the extra... Actually, no, this would be just about within range, I think, the Yamato. If I didn't have the extra range, there are definitely times when I would have struggled a bit. Right, if I can get some more fires, that would be jolly nice. I think there's at least the possibility... It's probably the turkets now, taking a long currently. There's at least the possibility of breaking 100k in this game. Get another heal going. We back up slightly. Okay, I didn't get as much quite out of that smoke as I would have liked. Kearsarge is actually a real prime target with that huge weak superstructure. Even without IFHE, that would be a lovely, lovely target to go for. Let's speed boost out the smoke, get ourselves a bit quicker. Oh, and somebody down there's also... That's going to be the Castilia, surely. Right, Kearsarge. I would very much like to keep popping away at you. One thing I haven't noted, which is a very useful feature, is the firing angles on this are pretty nice. And that combined with the fully traversing turrets, yeah, it's a nice combination to have. It does make for more comfortable gameplay than might otherwise be the case. If you had this thing with terrible turret angles, yeah.
Turret critically damaged.
Right, unfortunately,
Smoke generator
so we've got
activated.
smoke
Problem
going.
solved.
That Yamato's about to pop out there. Gonna get some side shots into
Smoke
them.
screen set. Engine boost deactivated.
Okay, slightly lower risk than otherwise. Okay, not going to be a huge amount of extra damage, but let's put them a little bit closer to death. Why not? I was hoping to maybe get the kill. But I think somebody else is going to get it. He is healing. Oh, no, there it goes. Right, so we've got the... Oh, there's the Jaeger. We've got Castilia over there. Got Kearsarge. I am plane spotted. I think we've kind of... Like, we're actually... Well, we've kind of got this enemy team on the run, but... looking at the actual numbers, we're not that far apart. Numbers of ships left. So I don't want to get too cocky. Right, Jaeger, don't know where you're going. So the main threat there is torpedoes. Castilia and Kearsarge cannot hit me right now, so that's fine. One heal left. Plenty of smokes and radars. So I think I am doing reasonably okay. And here come the hairy planes again. Here's where I think situations like this, the decreased rudder shift is quite handy, obviously, dealing with like incoming planes. Well, it looks like our CV's busy harassing that Jaeger because they know the Jaeger can't do that much about it. So the overall amount of damage is here is not bad. Could maybe start firing this Securier. Oh, actually, I might hit one of these tops. Never mind, that's a little bit of a shame. It doesn't have a lot of torpedo protection, as you might think. It's a light cruiser after all.
Engine boost activated.
I think we're going to want to... I don't know, use a smoke maybe? If the planes keep coming after me, I mean, the smoke doesn't offer a lot of protection, so I think I'm just going to keep firing and farming some damage off this Hikuryu. Because until the Hikuryu dies, there's really no safety for me. If they've decided they're going to go after the low health cruiser, then they're going to keep coming after me, and there's not a lot I can do about it until they're dead. So, yeah. So, let's get... Oh, I might take some of these. Ouch. I am down to not a lot of hit points. I really do wish those planes would go away, but there's not a lot I can do about it. So this is what I was talking about, like, you're going to shoot down some planes, but, like, it's not necessarily going to protect you. And I suspect the Castilia is going to have some kind of line of sight to me very shortly. Whoa, 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 this is fine, I am fine, how are you? Right, hopefully the CV is now going to be...
Smoke screen set.
Nice, an extra torpedo hit, bit of extra damage. Really hanging on by the skin of my teeth! Oh goodness, this is where the stealth does come in useful. Let's hope the planes are now going to be directed more at that Wisconsin. Over 100k damage though, 129, not bad, also a Confederate. Yeah, I feel like I have helped out in this one, that I've done something to contribute. And it's certainly way better placed for that than the Tiger 59 in terms of its capabilities. But as I said, it is distinctly though, it is one of those ships where you kind of a lot more reliant on your teammates to do things. Bonus torpedo kill, nice.
We destroyed their destroyer.
You just, yeah, it doesn't necessarily have, like, even with the heal, the capability to live long enough to, like, you're never doing any devastating hits with this thing, basically. No one's ever going to be scared of this thing in the way that they're going to be scared of battleship guns or big cruiser guns or a very big cruiser broadside. It's a ship that relies on persistence, and it relies on its toolbox to get anything done. Or at least one of these games has been semi-effective. Like, that first game was just such an absolute walkover. But this, I think, shows a lot better what this ship is capable of, given the right circumstances. It's just, you know, you're not necessarily always going to get those right circumstances. Right, let's just farm that Kearsarge a little bit more. So we can get fire going. That lovely squishy superstructure obviously is going to be very good for us. And there we go, we even got the kill. Nice, our second kill. Not quite 150k, but damn close. So there it is, a much better match than the previous one. I mean, they were both wins, but, well, you saw how that previous game went. And because we managed to live, we even got a Dreadnought. I think this is probably not a bad cruiser for getting Dreadnoughts in overall. And that should have put me... Oh, there we go, 2700. That was a pretty good score as well, all things considered. That little bonus kill on the Jaeger at the end, that was quite nice. Let's see, where is our potential damage? It's somewhere. I'm actually a bit curious what our potential damage is. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I forgot where it was temporarily. 1.4 million. That's not bad for a light cruiser. That's not bad at all. So, yeah, even though it's only a standard heal, it is surprisingly survivable. Although you can and will end up with situations where you are down to just a slither of health. So, yeah, this is not a bad ship, but I absolutely think it's not going to be everyone's kind of ship. I think you have to be really sure that you want this before you plonk down 30,000 steel for it. And it does have capabilities, but it's also a ship where you have to accept that sometimes things are just going to be out of your hands, and that you're having things happen to you rather than being the one that is sort of having a direct measurable influence on a game. But in that case, yes, my team was good enough to allow me to operate and do the things that I needed to do in this ship, and it ended up being quite a good win, and not the kind of game I can guarantee to have when I'm recording live, so it's always nice when it happens. Anyway, that is the Svea, and like I said, an interesting little ship, very much in the style of the Tiger 59, but so much more capable for its tier. So if you enjoyed this, you can do all the usual things underneath the video, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.